He said my best friend was gay, so why did I find her bra in the backseat of our car? And not just any bra. Her bra. I knew it the second I saw the left strap was stitched up with navy blue thread instead of black, because I helped her sew it. We were drunk, on the floor of my apartment 2 years ago, trying to fix the elastic with a needle so dull we had to use tweezers to pull it through. She joked. This bra has survived more than my last 3 relationships. And I'd laughed, not knowing it would one day be Exhibit A in the courtroom of my humiliation. It was shoved under a beach towel, crumpled but not dirty. Like it had been peeled off in a hurry, but folded just enough to hide the evidence. I froze. One hand gripping a Trader Joe's bag, the other still holding my keys. The sun was too bright, the car too quiet, and my brain just white noise. No panic yet. No heartbreak. Just that eerie stillness before a scream. Let me back up. I'm Cassie, 31, Pisces, clinical overthinker, I keep receipts, emotional and literal. I met Mason at a dog park even though I don't own a dog. My sister made me borrow hers because dog people are hotter and less likely to ghost you. Spoiler, she was half right. He was charming. You know the type, smart enough to quote Vonnegut, dumb enough to believe he was the first man to read it. His dog peed on my sister's shoe, and that was the start of our love story. 3 months in, I introduced him to Liv. I wasn't nervous. Why would I be? Liv's my best friend, my person. We met the first week of college when I spilled pad thai all over her binder and cried about a professor calling on me without raising my hand. She lent me a clean sweatshirt and said, "Mascara streaks are a vibe, but only if you own them." She came out sophomore year. No drama, just casually mentioned over brunch that she'd hooked up with the barista and her hands were fantastic. I celebrated with her. Bought her a candle that said queer and fierce. Watched her date women. Watched her get dumped by women. Watched her cry in my bed about women. So when she and Mason hit it off, I was happy, relieved even. They got each other's jokes, played board games I found mind-numbing, watched sci-fi series in a language I didn't care to learn. She called him dorky hot. He called her a chaos icon. I called them safe. It was the perfect triangle, him, me, Liv. And no, I never felt insecure. Because she was gay. Gay. Like pride flag in her bio, gay. Like, let's make fun of straight men together, gay. Like she once called penises aggressive noodles, and I choked on my wine. So when Mason would say things like, "Liv and I are doing movie night while you're at yoga," I said, "Cool." When Liv crashed on our couch after late hangs, and I'd find her hoodie on his chair the next morning, I'd smile and say, "Rough night." I wanted to believe it. Because the alternative would mean one of 2 things. That my boyfriend was lying to me. Or worse, that my best friend was. And between the two, I'd have chosen Mason. Because at least I could survive a breakup. But Liv, she was family. We shared passwords, vacations, tampons. She's in every birthday photo I care about. She once held my hair while I cried over a boy who ghosted me after 2 months. And Mason knew that. He knew what she meant to me. Which makes what they did all the more disgusting. But I didn't know that yet. Not in this moment. Not when I was standing in our driveway with frozen peas melting into the seat of my car, and a piece of black lace sitting there like a loaded weapon. I didn't say anything that night. I didn't want to believe what I already knew. So instead I came inside. Put away the groceries. Heard the shower running upstairs. And sat at the kitchen counter, staring at a bag of oranges like they could give me moral clarity. When he came down, he kissed my cheek. Smelled like my shampoo. Asked me if I wanted pad thai or sushi. Liv might come by, he added. She said she's had a crap day. I smiled. Nodded. Said, "Let's do sushi." He left to pick it up. And I stood there, alone in my kitchen, bra still in the car, dignity hanging on by a thread thinner than the one I'd used to sew that strap. The sushi was fine. That's the worst part. It was normal. Ordinary. Spicy tuna, eel avocado, edamame on the side. He handed me my miso like he always did, smiling, half distracted, telling me about some guy at work who got caught lying on his PTO form. I chewed slowly. Nodded. Pretended to listen. But I wasn't there. I was still in the backseat. Still holding lace and lies in one hand while trying not to drop my dignity with the other. He didn't notice. He never noticed when my silences weren't sleepy, they were surgical. He was too busy refilling soy sauce and double-tapping Liv's memes on Instagram. She posted one earlier that day, a picture of a burning house with the caption, "When you ghost someone and then see them doing just fine." I'd laughed when I saw it. Now I couldn't stop rereading it. Later, while he was brushing his teeth, I peeked into our laundry basket. His hoodie, her favorite hoodie, wasn't there. I checked the couch cushions. Nothing. I checked the guest blanket pile. It was there. And it smelled like her perfume. Not a lot. Just enough. A ghost. But it wasn't enough to accuse. Not yet. I needed more than scent and stitching. So I made a list. Actually made a list. Where she sits on the couch. His tone when he talks about her. Sudden wardrobe changes. Her social posts he likes within 5 minutes. Nights she crashes versus nights I'm out. I wrote it in my notes app under the heading, gut check, like I was prepping for a job interview in my own relationship. The next morning, I told him I had brunch with coworkers. I didn't. I parked 2 streets away from our house and waited. At 11:14 a.m. she arrived. Gray joggers, tank top, no bra. Of course. I watched through the side mirror as she walked up like she owned the place. Didn't knock. Just used the key under the flower pot, my idea. They were inside for 4 hours. I walked. Got sunburnt. Listened to true crime podcasts and tried not to imagine her feet on our coffee table. She left around 3:30. Mason texted me 15 minutes later. Hope brunch was good, Liv stopped by, we played Mario Kart, I won, barely. It was already unraveling. Not the lie. May. Because here's the thing no one tells you. When you suspect betrayal, reality splits. There's the part of you still doing laundry, checking the fridge for oat milk, and folding towels like the corners of your world aren't warping. And there's the part of you that's screaming into the void while everyone around you says, "You're overthinking it." I was. But I wanted to be. Because if I was wrong, all I had to do was apologize. If I was right, everything broke. The next time she came over, I stayed home. Pretended to nap in the bedroom. Door cracked just enough. I heard them laughing. Low, close. That kind of laugh people do when they're touching. I crept halfway down the hall. The TV was on, but the screen was paused. His voice soft. "Don't, she's here." Her voice quieter. So. My spine locked. I backed up. Slipped into the bathroom. Flushed the toilet to make noise. Washed my hands like nothing was rotting beneath the skin of my life. That night, she left without saying goodbye. Didn't even come in to wave. He said she had a headache. I said, "Weird, she seemed fine." He shrugged. "You know Liv." Yeah. I did. Or I thought I did. And I think that's when I knew this wasn't just cheating. This was something else. A betrayal written in code, in queerness, in the safety of allyship, and shared memes and feminist books, and everything that told me she was safe. And suddenly, everything felt like a performance. The pride flags. The jokes. The "I'd never do that to you" look she gave me last month when I joked about them being flirty. I started thinking back to every time she'd said, "You're lucky to have him." Now it sounded like a warning. Or a confession. I didn't sleep that night. I lay awake, counting all the times Liv had said, "I love you" to me over the years. Some platonic. Some drunk. Some whispered at 2 a.m. while we cried into each other's hair, healing from men we thought would break us. Now all I could hear was how well she'd rehearsed. Love was her favorite lie. By morning, I wasn't sad. I was focused. I knew I couldn't out them in a dramatic confrontation. No one would believe me. He'd just deny it. She'd call me fragile. And if I got mad, I'd be biphobic, jealous, internalized misogyny girl boss rage. No. I needed something smarter. Something poetic. So I texted Drew. Drew, my college theater tech ex-roommate, who once faked an engagement to get free cake samples. He owed me for covering his ass when his actual girlfriend walked in during his very real polyamory experiment. I need a dress, a camera, and plausible deniability. Eloping or exploding? A little of both. We planned it in under 2 hours. The theme, queer joy. The location, an indie flower farm outside town. The props, champagne flutes, velvet bench, vintage typewriter. The story, 2 lifelong best friends finally fall in love after years of repression, guilt, and missed chances. The execution, flawless. I texted Liv 3 days later. "Wanna help me surprise Mason? Need you for a shoot." Very confession of love, very dramatic, very us. She replied, "Say less, what do I wear?" I wanted to scream. But I didn't. Because Liv wasn't just cheating with my boyfriend. She was cheating with my trust. And now she was about to be the star of her own downfall. She arrived in a silky cream slip dress. No bra. A theme. Hair blown out. Winged liner. She looked like a goddamn Pinterest board captioned, "Alternative Bride Aesthetic." "You look hot," I said deadpan. "You look smug," she replied, smirking. She thought she was in on it. She thought we were still us. We posed. Back to back. Hands on cheeks. Laughing, almost genuinely, because the performance was so absurd it circled back to funny. I poured us fake champagne. We fed each other strawberries. At one point, she leaned in and said, "Imagine the internet if they thought this was real." And I said, "Oh babes, they will." As she blinked. Just once. Like her body registered something her brain hadn't caught up with. But we kept shooting. Drew was a genius. Every photo looked like something off a wedding blog in Brooklyn. Sunlight lens flare, overexposed affection. Liv looked at the camera like she was in love. And maybe she was. With herself. I posted the carousel that night. Caption: "We said it was always platonic. We lied. Thank you for seeing me, even when I didn't see myself. Coming out of the closet and the friend zone." The hashtag sealed it. #fake gay wedding. She was never just my friend. Sorry, Mason. Love is love, but loyalty is louder. Within 12 hours, it had over 86,000 likes. Within 24, people were reposting it with captions like, "This is why I trust no one." Plot twist of the year. Is this revenge, art, gay rights, all three? Liv texted me once. "Are you serious?" I didn't answer. She showed up at my house at 9:42 p.m. No warning. No knocking. Just walked in like she always used to. "What the F was that?" she hissed, shaking her phone. Performance, catharsis, payback, pick one. You made me look like what you are. You humiliated me. You humiliated yourself. I just gave it lighting. She stopped talking. Her face did something I hadn't seen in years. She looked small, like a child who got caught in makeup she wasn't supposed to touch. She sat down, hands trembling. Cass, I never wanted to hurt you. But you did. I didn't plan it. But you enjoyed it. A silence. Long. Uncomfortable. Honest. Then she whispered, I thought you'd never find out. You mean you hoped I wouldn't? She didn't answer. And that's when I knew it wasn't the betrayal that broke me. It was the arrogance. She never once imagined I'd see through it. That's what stung the most. Not the sex. Not the lies. But the fact that she thought I was too soft to notice. That night, I slept like a stone. Not because I was healed, but because I finally remembered what anger that doesn't implode feels like. Clean. Controlled. And so sharp. The first 48 hours felt like a high. I was a trending topic on TikTok for the worst and best reasons. The comments were a chaotic mix of support, shock, and outright digital warfare. This is iconic. She did what needed to be done. This is emotional terrorism with excellent lighting. Wait, is this real? Okay, but is she really gay or just gay for vengeance? This is why bisexuals can't have nice things. I read every comment, every tag, every repost. It was like watching my grief play out on a public stage I hadn't even realized I sold tickets to. Some queer creators called it performance art. Others said it set the movement back 10 years. I got 3 podcast requests, 2 DMs from alt-lesbian influencers, and 1 actual journalist asking if the ceremony was legally binding. And through all of it, Liv went dark. Deleted her Instagram. Locked her Twitter. Went from 20 stories a day to digital vapor. Mason. He texted me once. Classy move. I didn't reply. Mostly because he had the audacity to act like this was about him. No, I'm sorry. No, I messed up. Just bruised ego and a 2-word text. Classic. A few mutual friends messaged me too, some in support, some in confusion. You really hurt her, you know. She's not okay. This was cruel. And maybe it was. Maybe I'd crossed a line. But the line had already been trampled by them. And now they were upset I drew a new one in neon and made everyone look at it. Please. I didn't owe them silence. Still, something shifted. By the end of the week, the buzz died down. The likes plateaued. The comments slowed. And I was left alone. Not just online. IRL. People stopped inviting me to group chats. Brunch plans rescheduled. My phone got quieter. Even my sister called less. That's when the spiral started. The guilt wasn't loud. It was subtle. A slow itch behind my ribs. I started asking myself things I didn't want answers to. Did I go too far? Did I make it about revenge when it should have been about healing? Did I become the villain in someone else's story? But here's the thing about being the villain. Sometimes the villain's just the one who finally tells the truth out loud. And the truth was this. Liv pretended to be something she was. Mason let me erase parts of myself to keep his secret safe. And I played along until I didn't. I started therapy again. Didn't mention the wedding post for 2 sessions. My therapist, Rita, asked me something in the 3rd week that I still haven't answered out loud. Do you miss her? I didn't say yes. But I didn't say no. Because I missed parts. The 2 a.m. talks. The inside jokes. The way she used to braid my hair before dates and say, "You're a catch, babe, he's lucky." Was she lying then? I don't know. Maybe she meant it. Maybe she meant all of it until she didn't. And maybe that's the worst betrayal of all. When love turns off like a light switch. No warning. No flicker. Just darkness. I stopped sleeping well. Started walking more. Stopped checking her socials. Started watching stand-up comedy just to hear someone say anything real and raw and a little bit awful. My life didn't fall apart after the wedding post. But it didn't exactly come together either. I had to build it again, slower. With fewer people. And less pretending. That was the price of truth. It cost me peace, but bought me clarity. I didn't get closure. Not really. Not the movie kind, anyway. No final confrontation. No weepy apology under string lights. No dramatic monologue where I told them both off and walked away in slow motion. No one begged me to forgive them. No one showed up with flowers or tears. All I got was silence. And maybe that was the most honest part of the entire story. Because silence is a kind of ending. It's not pretty. It doesn't trend. But it's real. I still have the photos. The fake wedding ones. I never deleted them. They're in a locked album on my phone called Exorcism. Sometimes, late at night, I scroll through them. Not because I miss her, but because I want to remind myself what delusion looks like when it's dressed up as love. She looks so happy in those shots. So do I. And I wonder, were we ever that close? Or were we both just clinging to something that felt easier than facing what we actually were? She wanted access. I wanted intimacy. She gave me validation. I gave her cover. Maybe we weren't best friends. Maybe we were just using each other's reflection to feel real. I took the post down eventually. Not because I regretted it. Because I didn't want to live there anymore. That version of me, the one with the righteous anger and the perfect caption and the ring light justice, she served her purpose. She got me through the explosion. But she couldn't rebuild anything. Now, I'm quieter. Not calmer. Not wiser. Just less interested in spectacle. I go to farmers' markets. I deleted TikTok. I stopped liking things just to prove I'm watching. I journal. Not for healing. Just to hear myself without interruption. Last week, I ran into Mason at CVS. He didn't see me. He was buying protein bars and toothpaste and humming some pop song that used to drive me nuts. I stood behind the display of allergy meds and watched him check his phone, smile, and type something. I didn't feel rage. I felt empty. Not numb. Just unhooked. He didn't ruin me. He just ended something that needed ending. And Liv. She moved. Someone told me she lives out west now, doing PR for a boutique skincare line. No public socials. No mutuals left. She ghosted me in every possible way. And maybe that was her final gift. Because she left a space I didn't know I needed. Not to fill, but to exist inside. A space where I'm not the cool girlfriend. Not the chill friend. Not the one who swallows everything to make the vibe comfortable for everyone else. Now I'm the girl who found a bra in her boyfriend's car and decided that was the last time she'd lie to herself. I never told my therapist if I missed Liv. But here's what I did say. I miss believing I was safe. Rita nodded. Didn't push. Some days I still miss that. But most days, I'm just grateful I found the truth before I built a life on a lie. Looking back now, maybe I could have handled it better. Been softer. More understanding. More grown-up. Or maybe, just maybe, I finally said enough. Subscribe to my Mia's Stories YouTube channel for raw, emotional stories and authentic insights that encourage healing, growth, and understanding. Don't forget to be part of a supportive space where stories inspire and lessons resonate. What do you think about this story? Let us know in the comments. Your opinion truly matters to us, and we're here for you.